And the land is dark, and the moon, still like the sea. No, I won't be afraid. No, be afraid. Just as long as you stand darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by, oh, stand by me.
If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
And let your trouble, baby, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Suzanne. I'm the music director here, and I have your announcements for the community for the coming week. Choir has started again. If you're interested in joining the Spirit Choir, come talk to me after service. We rehearse every Monday night from 7 to 9. All are welcome to join. Let's Make a Deal is our annual fundraiser. The fundraising committee is kicking off our silent auction with a Mimosa Sunday today. You're invited to stay after service and learn more about this event. Our team is looking for people to join us to canvass the Danforth for donations from local businesses. You can talk to Pat. Where is Pat? Pat's at the back. Thank you, Pat, with the blue shirt, or John Whitehead, who I don't think is here today. Is there someone from the committee who has an announcement to say today? It is Pat. Okay, great. Here you go.
Hello, hello, everybody. We're going to start our auction process again this year. And of course, we are coming to ask you for you to look for any hidden treasures you have that you would like to donate to us. So there you go. That's the first part of that. And we're looking to have them brought in, the small items, into neighborhood by the end of this month. And if you have larger items that you need help with, if you contact John or myself, we'll be able to help you with that. And when the items come in, we'll be putting them in the far room over in the corner. But you can talk to John or I or anyone on the committee, and we will help you with all that. So if you can send me an email, we have a brochure, Let's Make a Deal. My email's on it, and you can always send me an email telling me what you think you would like to donate. That'd be great, too. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Pat. The C Committee, our Social and Environmental Action Committee, is meeting October 1st after service. In the meantime, you can join us on September 27th at the March for the Land at Queen's Park at noon. 5 First Nations from Northern Ontario will come to Toronto to lead a march calling on Premier Ford to end unwanted mining on their territories. You can talk to Nancy or Kurt. Are they here today? Thank you, there's Kurt. About a meeting place. Common Thread in the Streets will be singing. If you're interested in singing at that protest, you can talk to me after. In our art galleries, there's a show opening today after service. To my right is Ravinder Ruprai's Circle series, and to my left is Lauren Renzetti's Meadow Meditations. All are welcome. You can go up the stairs and have a look at our art show after service today. Toronto Sacred Circle Fall Equinox Dance happening Saturday, the 23rd of September from 9 to 2:30. No experience or partner is needed. Each dance will be taught. All are welcome. Please contact Moira for more info, and Moira will be leading our meditation later today. Remembering Rev Rod, a celebration of life, will be held here in our sanctuary Saturday, the 23rd of September at 5 o'clock. All are welcome to come. If you're not able to make it in person, it will also be live streamed on Zoom and available following as a YouTube recording. Pastoral care at Neighborhood. You can contact our contract minister, Reverend Pat Trudeau, for short-term pastoral care on a totally confidential basis, and set up a time to speak with her in person or by phone or Zoom to discuss issues that you are seeking spiritual guidance and support on. To reach Rev Pat, contact her at pastoralcare@nuuc.ca. And next Sunday, our theme is We Covenant in Love. Our speaker is Reverend Pat Trudeau. Music will be provided by Suzanne, that's me, and friends. And our service weaver will be Allison Kabayama.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning. Welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service. We are delighted to see you all here in our sanctuary and virtually on Zoom. Gillian Newcomb is my name, and once again, I am honored to be your service weaver. Each Sunday, we start our service by creating a sacred space and bringing ourselves together in mind, body, and spirit. It's time to take a breath and center ourselves here. Please join me in reading our invocation. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here.
Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow for the formal life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families.
I now invite Michelle Thorne to come up and light the chalice.
invite up my fellow comforters, members of the Comfort Choir. We're going to share a prelude with you this morning. These fabulous singers are part of a group that sings. We're now on a monthly basis at Michael Garron Hospital, singing at the bedsides of patients in the palliative care ward. We think about singing to babies as they come into the world, and we are singing to adults mostly as they are leaving this world. If you're interested in learning more about this group or was singing with us, please talk to me after the service.
Woo is right. What beautiful harmonies. Thank you. Thank you so much, Comfort Choir. We are meeting here on the traditional territory governed by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant of 1701, made between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, which is an agreement to set violence aside and peacefully share and care for the land in the Great Lakes Basin. It is important to honor the ancestral guardians of this land and its waterways, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat, as well as many other nations, including Métis and Inuit. Today, many Indigenous peoples continue to call this land home and act as its stewards. And this responsibility extends to all peoples, including ourselves, to share and care for the land for generations to come. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. The members and friends of Neighborhood are open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions. If you're looking for spiritual community, you are welcome here. If you're visiting us for the first time or returning after a brief time away, you are especially welcome. And you're invited to stay after service to chat with us over a cup of coffee or tea or special today, mimosas. Our services do vary from week to week, and so we would love for you to come back and experience many to get a full picture of what we're all about. As Suzanne mentioned, Neighborhood's Comfort Choir is leading the songs today, and the choir is comprised not only of Suzanne, our musical director, but also Allison Kabayama, Kathy Hunt, Naomi Terrell, Shirley Roll, Martha Davis, and Karen Richards. Our Director of Lifespan Learning, Julia Thompson, will offer the Time for All Ages today. And Moira McDonald will lead our meditation. Joe Strakowski is providing Zoom tech support, and Gordon Thorne is on our AV desk in the sanctuary today. Finally, Doug Crozier will offer in 2 parts his message of inspiration about what cancer and chemo are teaching him about living. I will speak a little bit more about Doug in a few minutes, but thank you all for your energy and commitment to co-creating our beautiful service today. Last week, Deb Bertizon spoke about our annual and bi-monthly themes. And if you need a reminder, they are posted on the new digital display in the Cappuccino room. Kudos to Michelle Thorne, our amazing communications chair and chalice lighter today, for getting that display up and running. We are truly moving into the digital era. The monthly theme for September is Covenant and Community. Last week, we held a water, communion, and rock covenant. After service, several people were left feeling curious about what some of their fellow congregants' covenants might be. So it was proposed that those who wished to share their covenants anonymously may do so by writing them on a piece of paper and placing them in the chest that's right behind me. After service today, the chest will be placed in the Cappuccino room along with some pieces of paper on which you might write. This is a completely voluntary initiative. You are by no means under any obligation to do this, but we hope that you will, because this is another ritual that will help us foster our growth and strength as a community.
Gillian, I have a question.
Yes, Suzanne.
If I wasn't here last week, what kind of things might I be writing to put in that chest?
Oh my gosh, talk about calling me out. Well, I might be able to give you a hint as I continue on. But we were called upon to make a commitment to our congregation for the year, our aspiration. Our yearly theme is aspiration. So we were asked to think about what we would like to do to help build and grow and strengthen our community. And we committed those covenants silently. And that's why I said that some people were curious and why we're going to be writing them down, if we wish. Does that help?
Yeah, just for folks that were.
Of course. Good thinking. On the subject of community, today, Doug will touch on how his experience with community is helping him ride the waves of critical illness and healing. My search for my search for a community of like-minded people is what drew me to neighborhood in the first place. I was at a crossroads in my life. My sister was moving up north to be with her children and her grandkids, and my adult boys were well on their way. My two boys were well on their way to establishing their lives without me. And I realized I didn't have much of a social network, having moved to Toronto in 2016, then focusing on my mother's mother whose health was declining. And then I eventually basically dropped out during COVID, as I think many of us might have done. So I watched a few services online, and then I showed up at the first in-person service in March of 2022. I have to admit, it was weird. Only because I felt like the only person in the room who didn't know anyone. But I do remember Steve Kohler. He spotted me sitting alone in my seat from way across the room. And during Greet Your Neighbors, he made a beeline over to me to say hi. I will never forget that gesture of kindness and welcome. Hey, Steve. But I soon learned that for community to happen for me, I needed to build it. So I joined the choir, I became a greeter, and I baked a few brownies. And I kept showing up, and people gradually started recognizing that I was sincere and here to stay. I've met some truly wonderful people, many of whom I now consider friends. This is a great group of supportive, accepting people, but you do have to put in a little work to receive full benefit. As David Spangler wrote, oh yes, I love that sound. The sound of children in our sanctuary is music to my ears. Some people think that they are in community, but they are only in proximity. True community requires commitment and openness. It is willingness to extend yourself to encounter and know the other. I may not believe all that David Spangler has written, but I do what he said there makes good sense. So I'm going to go out on a limb, but first reiterate that putting your name on your written covenants is definitely not the expectation. But in the spirit of openness, I want to share the covenant I made last week, long before I sat down to write this. It's kind of interesting serendipity because it was related to the theme. Last week, with my new Canadian Shield adoptive rock in my hand, I promised to work harder, to participate more fully, and be present for those who need me to help my newfound community become larger, more influential, and more connected than ever before. And now it's time to greet our neighbors. And if you see someone you don't know, please be like Beeline Steve and wish them a warm welcome. Beeline Steve, be mindful of the people attending virtually. Wave to the back wall.
Oh, he's a real Newfoundlander.
Oh, he's a real Newfoundlander. I'm just a blow.
Real Newfie.
Hi. Welcome.
Hello. So what Gillian was describing, arriving at the door there, and then having Steve, where's Steve? Having Steve, during the service come and welcome you. That's exactly what happened to me, but it was Gillian who did that. I did the same thing as you did. I watched like a service online, and then I thought, oh, this seems so right for me. So I came in through the door, and I was a little bit uncomfortable, and then Gillian saw me, and then she said, do you want to sit with me? So it was your kindness, and I think that's so important to greet people and make them feel welcome as they come into the, and it was, well, you gave me a huge hug. Thank you. So I guess there's one child maybe, but still this is the time for the young and young of heart. And I just want to talk about challenges. Everybody has challenges in their lives. And for me, like when I think of a challenge, I think of something hard, but it's also something that we can learn from and grow from. And, it makes you stronger as a person. So Terry Fox here, he ran across Canada. And before cancer, he loved to run. And then after he had cancer, he learned to run on an artificial leg. And so Terry was an ordinary person, just like you and like me. And he had the challenge of cancer, but he made a difference in many people's lives, and he raised so much money to fight cancer. And Terry said that he had grown from this challenge and he had become a better person. And like a challenge can be, there's so many different kinds of challenges in your life, and who feels it knows it. Somebody might think that somebody's challenge is like not much of a challenge, but it might be a big challenge for them. I remember my kids when they were first learning to swim, like bobbing their heads under the water and holding their breath. That was a huge challenge for them. And then once they were able to do that, they felt so good and so much stronger. So I want to talk about someone else who had a health challenge. And her name, it's a girl from Japan whose name is Sadako. And Sadako got sick from the atomic bomb from World War II. And she had to spend a lot of time in the hospital. And during her time in the hospital, she, to pass the time, she made hundreds and hundreds of paper cranes. And after she had made, there's a story about her, and in the story, after she had made 10 cranes, her father said, well, there's not space on the table beside your bed, so I'll hang those cranes up. And Sadako said, do you promise to hang them all up? And he said, oh, of course, no problem. And she said, good, because there's going to be at least 1,000 cranes. And he said, Sadako, you tricked me. So Sadako collected hundreds of pieces of paper, and she made hundreds of colorful cranes of different sizes. And there's a statue of Sadako, you can see right there in the second picture, and she's holding a golden crane, because in the story at least, that was the first paper that she used to make her first crane was gold. And it's a memorial. It's in the Peace Memorial Park in Japan. And on Peace Day, people come and they put paper cranes beneath her statue. And she lives on in their hearts when people think of courage and peace. So the fact that we're all of us, able to grow and learn from our challenges, it gives me hope and it somehow makes me feel stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. You have given us some things to think about and read up on. Lovely story. And a difficult subject for sure. Please allow me to introduce you to Doug Crozier. For those who are fairly new to our congregation, you might not have seen an awful lot of Doug, as for the last year, he's been focusing on his health. But for longtime neighborhood members, I recognize that you know him very well. A member for over 17 years, Doug was a lay chaplain for 4, is a member of our choir, has been a service weaver, and I'm hoping will rejoin us one day, and has co-facilitated several small groups. Doug dedicated his lifelong career to the helping profession, supporting adults with a variety of abilities, and then as a rehabilitation therapist for 23 years, aiding individuals with acquired brain injury and their families. To say that Doug has heart is an understatement. He is a valued, much admired, and seriously loved member of our community, and I am sure you join me in feeling profound gratitude for what he has prepared for us today. Come on up, Doug.
It's a good thing I have a backup. Good morning, everyone. It is so good to be with you here this morning. Being back in the sanctuary is a golden ingredient in my ongoing healing. Over the course of the last year, I was already good at it, yet my brother Ken thinks I've become very masterful at crying. And as appreciative as I am of the comfort choir, it's probably a good thing that the full choir isn't here today, or I'd just be blubbering through what I have to share with you. I begin by honoring that this message has been difficult at times to prepare. And then I had moments this past week when I really wasn't sure I'd be able to share it with you. There could be pockets when I'm talking where I'll need to pause or take an extra breath, like now. Ground myself. When I've been asked this morning how I'm doing, it's been a reminder for me to make sure both of my feet are on the floor. And I invite all of you to practice self-care too. The news that I've had to share, even or especially this past week, 10 days, is difficult to share, and I know that for those who love me, it's difficult to hear. I also ask that you pay attention when I'm wrapped my message, and if you gauge the read that I need some space or that I'm overwhelmed, my energies are really very precious, and I'll remind you that if we don't talk today, we'll have another opportunity. I feel deeply motivated by the reciprocity of telling you this part of my story, of my life. It's helpful for me, and I trust and I hope that it will be of benefit to someone here today. This indeed is my covenant, my commitment to you, to myself, to who I call God, and to our community. So I'm going to ask if you're comfortable that Deb is so good at this. We begin by taking a few gentle cleansing breaths together. Now, if it feels right for you, I'm going to ask that you close your eyes. Let the quiet settle. And just listen to the next thought that comes to you, without critique and without dismissal. Clarify this thought for yourself. Sit with it. Be with yourself. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Last August 29th, I had what I expected to be a routine endoscopy and colonoscopy, kind of a 2-for-1 deal. When I came to from the procedure, the young doctor quite unceremoniously announced to me that they'd found a mass on my esophagus. Once the initial "what the heck" began to settle, my very next thought was, I have too much life left to live and too many people I love to say goodbye just yet. My next thought, the next intention that I've carried from that day to this one is, I am going to live past this. There's one school of thought which suggests that neuropaths can become activated in just 17 seconds of holding a thought. I have a friend in recovery, and I just love this. He says, a thought is just a thought until I believe it. What was your first thought with your eyes closed just now? Do you feel like you'd like to change your mind? Think about it. For me, the whole basis of my faith and all of my spiritual practice is that I am blessed with choice in every matter. Father Richard Rohr says, your heart has to be prepared ahead of time through faith and prayer and grace and mercy and forgiveness, so you can keep your heart even in hell when hell happens. I expect many of us have heard about the laws of attraction. Books like The Secret, writers like Marianne Williamson and Don Miguel Ruiz and his 4 agreements. The Artist's Way teacher and writer Julia Cameron. All of these highlight the premise that we get back what we put out. Like attracts like. Love attracts love. My strong sense is that I began to set myself up for a successful treatment with those first thoughts that I had. I was in the thoracic surgeon's office the very next day, and 2 days later I had the first of several CT scans, and that evening received diagnosis from my GP. And the biopsy had shown esophageal cancer. As I began to share this news, the universe's apt filter began to wean out who I would call the energy vampires in my life, those who I was still enduring. And it shifted the focus instead to friends, medical professionals, and family who could be fully present to me and to my needs. I had heard and hunched this concept that, I might be surprised. The people who I didn't expect to show up did, and the ones who I thought would be walking with me weren't able to help. I can tell you that that's not my experience. For me, there's a deep appreciation that I'd already built a circle around me of love and of support. And just this week, I described the locked arms that have been at the ready for me to take my next steps. Many of you are in this room now. We've all heard of difficulty within our healthcare system, the lacking. There have been several candles lit here in joy and concern about that very thing. My path has been beautifully lined with the cream of the crop. My surgeon is steadfast with me and his confidence most welcomed. He is a strong leader and is open to various input and opinion. He always speaks to me with honesty, with clarity, and with compassion. And I liked my oncologist from the moment that we met. My regard and respect for him has only increased every time I've interacted with him. The Unity Healthcare Network and the cancer community, if you will, in this city is such that reputations are sturdily enmeshed and shared freely. I've only heard good things about these two gentlemen, with very good reason. Many around me have commented on just how impressed they are, both by my doctors and by the speed of their response. Keep loving myself. These are some of the things I have to tell myself. This is how I will keep ensuring the love of God, of myself, and of others. And I need to clear space. I need to see the room, and I need to keep inviting people who are on a healthy path, fellow travelers who are really safe. This is not a small point for me. All of us struggle. I struggle. Yet I really know that we need to be here for one another, and that I can do my part to leave my stuff at the door so that I can sit and be with you. A few years ago, I was down in the dumps about something, and I was talking with someone here in the community, our friend Laura, and she said, "You know, Doug, a friend of mine says you got to write yourself a little prescription, and every day find at least one thing to laugh about." I said, "Oh, that's good." She said, "Yeah, that was you, Doug." Sometimes not remembering is a good thing. Not too long ago, I was toying and playing a little bit with this whole identification thing that's really in vogue right now. And I like to have fun. I don't make fun, yet I like to have fun. At one point, I came in and I said, "You know, from now on, I want you to call me Cher." And, people know me pretty well, so they're like, "Okay, Doug, okay." And then I came back in the next week. I said, "Going forward, I want to be known as Justin Trudeau." And again, it was like, The next time I come in all seriousness, I said, "From now on, I'm identifying as Suzanne Mazars." Allison got a really solemn look on her face. She touched my arm and she said, "Doug, you know you can't do that." I don't mind either. We're all interconnected, right? It doesn't hurt to laugh. And when my mom was toward the end of her life, when I would see that she was having difficulty getting the oxygen into her lungs, I would help her to laugh. And it really helped me too. When I was at the lake this summer, and I had taken off my shirt to get ready for a swim, my 5-year-old nephew, Cade, right on cue, said, "What's that?" And he was pointing to the cornucopia, the accordion of healing sutures across my abdomen. So I reminded him about my operation, and I pointed out the largest one. I thought he might be interested along my back. And he said, No, Uncle Doug, I think this one's bigger." And he gestured toward my belly button. So in case any of you missed my swimwear catalog from this summer, I'm still rocking a very healthy innie. I'll have more to talk with you about in a few minutes.
And although this song is about standing, you're welcome just to remain seated and join us from seated in singing Standing Stone by Melanie DeMore.
Good morning, everyone. It was my honor to be asked by Doug to lead you in a meditation for, I think he asked for healing, physical healing. And I remember that our founding minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, often talked about that there was a difference between cure and healing. And healing, I think, was something that was much more than just about the body, but it was about the spirit and all of it working together. And for me, healing is also about acceptance and love of our bodies. So I'm hoping that I can lead you through a bit of a practice of that now. So be here now. And as you are here, I'd like to invite you into a very loving, friendly, gentle stretch of your body. So you can reach up, if you like, up to the ceiling. And this is friendly. This isn't an ouch. This is a friendly stretch. Feel the tips of your fingers traveling through your vertebrae, into your pelvis and your tailbone and down through your knees and into your feet. And then you can let your hands come down and take a breath and let it out in a deep, loving sigh. So I invite you to place a hand on your heart. Listen. Feel your body. Feel your body deeply and without judgment. Feel your breath as it moves through your body, through your heart. That heart that has been with you for your entire life here. Through every joy and every sorrow. And now I invite you to take your hands and put your hands together and feel your hands. Gently, just feel those hands that work so hard for us and we never notice. We rarely notice all the things that they do for us. The things that they do for ourselves. The things that they do for others. May we have gratitude for these, our hard-working hands, and for the whole body that they're connected to, just as it is. Our body, composed of the 4 elements, our body made of the universe. Gratitude for this, our body, our golden ticket to ride this earthly existence. And then I invite you to place a hand or hands on your belly. Feel the heat that comes through. All the gurglings and the murmurings. This also part of our body. May we have compassion for our body, beautifully and wonderfully made, just as it is. May we feel compassion for this body. And then I invite you to lovingly place your hands over your eyes and your cheeks. Feel the warmth of your hands. Feel your breath, a swinging door between you and the world around you. And as you do this, wiggle your toes inside your shoes. These small parts of our body that have carried you so far, connecting you to the earth always. And then you can take your hands and just rest them in your lap if you like. Knowing that in every moment, love, gratitude, acceptance, compassion are there for us in every moment, for our bodies, just as they are, beautifully and wonderfully made. Rest here and the music will continue to play for another minute. And then I will bring you back. Blessed be your body, and I invite you to come back in your time.
Thank you, Moira. Oh, yeah. That's Maximus Bear. He's another good friend of mine. Welcome to those folks on Zoom. I don't think I said that. It's really good to see you and to hear you. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13 says this: "No testing has overtaken you that is not common to everyone. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tested beyond your strength. Yet with the testing, he will also provide the way out so that you may be able to endure it." When I look back on my journal from August the 29th of last year, in part the entry reads, "I've been practicing being the grown-up in my life today. I've had a great deal of practice with that this last year, and it seems to me that often the cliches turn out to be true. I'd gotten to a place in my life where I like myself, and over this period, I can tell you with definition that I know that I love myself. My sense is that I got a knock on the door in the middle of the night. It was probably raining, it was cold, and someone thrust a boy into my arms. This was a sick boy, about 5 years old is how I see him. And they said, "Here, it's you, you've got to take care of him." I felt like I've gone through a master's level course in nursing over this last year at the very time that exhaustion meant that I would have to take a break after walking up the 5 steps at the front of my house. The fatigue connected with chemotherapy is unbelievable. They warn us, yet as it was happening for me, it was really hard to process. I've learned about deep self-care, how to use a feeding tube, how to administer self-injections, how to clean and change dressing. And I've had a very steep learning curve when it comes to diet, combining food with fluid, and nutrition. These are areas that were already in need of change for me. Thank God and for my faith practice. I've been reminded as I prepare this talk that along with family and friends, this community and my 12-step recovery communities are the foundational strength and support of my life. They've helped me survive this past year, and both invite me in a way that feels kismet to explore and really decide and to practice what spiritual living is for me. Most days, I prepare a gratitude list. A new friend, as I looped her into this list, said, "You really take this gratitude thing seriously, don't you?" And I responded to her, "Yeah, I kind of have to. My life depends on it now." Okay. I would say, in my case, I've got a hairline fracture in that proverbial glass. And this past year, with help, I've been practicing keeping it full. Michael J. Fox, who knows a few things about trial and tribulation, asserts, with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. I don't know about you, yet one of the things that Reverend Wayne would do sometimes is repeat something that he felt was important. So I'm going to say it again. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. There's a picture of me taken a number of years ago, and from my perspective, I think, I'm much healthier now than I was in that photo. And part of it is about the weight loss, yet for me it's about the way that my eyes look in this next picture, and for the time where I've carried and shared laughter and tears. Getting old with experience is a really good thing, joys and pain. I turned 60 this day, and more than any other decade of celebration, I can tell you I have earned that 0 at the end of that number. My niece Lindsay fell into that shtick of, oh no, you're 59 and holding. It's like, I am 60, and I carry it like a badge of courage. Yeah, baby. There's a few rabbit babies in the crowd today. I'd like to thank you all for your love and your kindness to me and with me. So far in my life, I'd never felt so frightened and alone as I was in hospital after the operation, January the 31st. I was navigating self-administering harsh narcotic pain meds that I didn't want to take at all. Yet I know when the doctors confirmed and the nurses, you have to take these. It was going to help my breathing. It was going to help me to be able to get back up on my feet and walk again. It helped me eventually to poop on my own, which when you can't do it, it's not so good. I grew to hate hearing the Zamboni very early in the morning and late at night. And this Zamboni would carry the portable x-ray machine. And I needed that for a few days in hospital because there was a real, true concern and risk of pneumonia. I began to notice when I was most frightened, the clock would be at the half-hour mark. For some reason, everything seemed to slow down and I'd really feel where I was and how frightened I was then. So I sent out the word to our friend Anna, and I asked her to ask you if you notice the clock on the half hour, just to say a prayer for me, or to light a candle, or to hold a thought of healing. I felt each and every one of them. I knew I wasn't alone. And you gave me the love that I could keep going. Thank you is just a word, yet it's all I got right now. Ours is a living faith. I owe my life in no small measure to my faith, to our faith community, to the one I call God, and to the love that I share with other really good people. If I live another 30 years, I doubt that I can pay it forward. Yet, in times of this global pandemic, mistrust in families and in communities like this one, I tell you this with definition. People are good. People are really good. I know I'm not terminally unique. Over this past year, I've asked, why me? How did this happen? What have I done to deserve this? I don't dwell on that because I know it's dangerous. For me, it's potentially lethal. There's a passage in AA literature which states, we saw them, people in recovery, calmly accept impossible situations, seeking neither to run nor to recriminate. This is not only faith, it is faith that works under all conditions. Nothing has brought me right size with myself, my maker, with all of you, as this past year, the diagnosis and its treatment. My close friend Felicity was with me last August 29th. And she said this that day, and she's repeated it since with laughter and levity. And I always appreciate that. She reminded me that none of us knows how we're going to die. And then she'd say, I could be hit by a bus tomorrow, Doug. It's how we choose to live. For me, it's not the cancer that would kill me, nor the horrible chemotherapy. It would be falling into the pit of despair. I'll tell you the truth. Twice I've taken my hand off the railing around that cliff, and I've peered over the edge. I've made a promise, and I'm going to keep that promise, that I'm not going to do it a third time. I did nothing to deserve this. There's a country song, and the lyrics include, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. I've had the chance to learn. I deserve my life, all of it, all of me, all of you. I've had the chance to live like I am living. and I hope you do too. I leave you with the words of Florence Welch. She says and she sings, "Leave all your love, all your longing behind. You can't carry them with you if you want to survive." Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Doug, for sharing. I know we can take an awful lot away from what Doug has shared with us today, and I want to re-express my deep gratitude for you coming here today to share. So now we are going to move to our offering, and I don't know if the greeters are ready. Okay, so I'll just start by just saying that in every faith community, people are called upon to give. Volunteer work is integral and very much appreciated, but your monetary contributions pay for our staff salaries and programs that we all benefit from. Members of Neighborhood can choose a variety of ways to give, either through the weekly collection, predated checks, e-transfers, or automatic withdrawals. There's no rush. You don't have to start collecting until I've finished, but all right. The greeters will pass the baskets around for those who wish to contribute now. And for those attending virtually, do please use the link displayed on the screen, which leads you to our website donation page. In whatever way you choose to give, please be as generous as you can. And the greeters can bring the baskets up to me as soon as the collection is finished. You don't have to wait till the end of the song. If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you've known kindred spirits here, let your offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good.
Please rise in spirit for our closing song, Song of Faith. I know I can go on.
before we close, I'll just ask you to keep in mind to be mindful when you approach me, and if you want to give me a hug, you're going to have to be wearing a mask. That's just the way it goes. As is our usual practice, we encourage one another to join hands, such as you're comfortable, lock arms or touch shoulders as we join together to close our service. I'll leave you with this blessing. Oh yeah, let's do the chalice first. Thank you so much, Kurt. This is why I should let Gillian take the mic. I am going to leave you with these words. Life is short, but it's wide. Be here. Be with me. Relax. Trust yourself. Love. Live. Feel safe in the places where you dwell, where you laugh, and where you join together with others. Be here now. Believe in good and smile and really love. This service is ended. Go in peace. Thank you, gals.